What is up, people? My name is Lunsford, and welcome back to another magic trick review here on the channel. Now, if you're new here, then definitely please consider subscribing, but if you're not new here, then hey, thanks for coming back. I really appreciate it. And today we're going to be talking about Zeus by the French twins. This is a really cool gimmick that might work best for social media, but maybe it could play in person. We'll see. Stick around to the end of this video to find out, and we'll talk all about Zeus and its cool packaging. First off, you need to know, what actually is Zeus? Well, Zeus is a really cool gimmick card that has been made by Hondo Chin. Knowing that this is a really cool visual change, and knowing the work that Hondo is famous for, you should be able to figure out kind of what this is, and that should also help you kind of figure out if this is for you. There are two different versions. You can either have a card that prints itself in front of you from blank to being a printed card, or you can have a card chain from one to another, and it does it very slow and very visually. What will you be receiving if you decide to purchase it? Well, you'll be getting the gimmick cards itself, depending on which one you decide to buy. There is a package deal. You can also buy them individually if you don't want both of them. And you also get a tutorial video that shows you how to actually use these gimmicks, and a part about how to repair your gimmick, because if you're using this a lot, the nature of the gimmick will break on you and you will need to fix it. Now that you know what Zeus is and what you'll be receiving, let's talk about some more questions you may have, such as how difficult is it to perform? Zeus is it's difficult to describe because the gimmick does do all the work for you, and normally these gimmicks are pretty easy. You know, they activate themselves, and you know, you can just kind of go out and do your own thing because it does all the work for you. This one works in the same way, but since it happens so many times, you kind of got to put a little bit more work into it to be like, oh, okay, I got to make sure that this goes off at this time, and I got to make sure that I, do this before this one goes off. So it's not that difficult, it's just a little bit harder than a normal one of these type of cards, which means that it will take a little bit more practice. How are the angles for Zeus? Well, the change happens on the face of the card, so your audience needs to be in front of you for this because they won't be able to see it if they're watching from the back. Is Zeus examinable? The gimmick card itself, obviously not, but you can make it examinable by the end, just like with most other gimmick card tricks. There are ways to get around this. Just use a little bit of sleight of hand and you can make it examinable by the end. What's the setup and reset like for Zeus? Well, it's your typical setup for a card that's like this, that has the same nature as this, but it's a little bit extra because it happens 3 different times. You're going to need to put in a little bit of extra work to get this thing set up, but it's probably going to take you about 30 seconds to do once you get it down. It's not difficult, you just need to learn how to make sure that each one is in the correct position and that it's not going to activate before you want it to. Is there any DIY or anything you need to buy or supply? Not initially, but if you're performing this a lot, the nature of these cards, yep, it's your little alien friend that you're going to need to prepare a little bit later and kind of be like, hey, buddy, you're not doing so hot. Let me fix you up. It's going to take a little bit of work to do some DIY if your gimmick breaks on you. Are there any negatives about Zeus? There are a couple. One is what I just mentioned. You will have to repair it, and it's not the easiest thing to repair, but it's also not the most difficult. There's a video, there's part of the video that Hondo actually walks you through how to do it. There are subtitles for it, though. Not the actual tutorial teaching you how to use it, but the repair part, because Hondo puts subtitles over his stuff for when he does English subtitles. Yeah, that part, English subtitles, just be aware of that as well. You also need to be careful of your lighting because of the nature of this gimmick. Like I mentioned throughout this video, some of these cards that you're using do need to kind of be at certain angles in the light so that way people don't see certain things. And one more thing, it is pretty thick on one side, but the other side it isn't, so you need to kind of watch your angles for that. You do need to keep your audience in front of you. Like I mentioned earlier, they're not going to see the change behind you, but you need to keep your audience in front of you for this. Personally, I will say I think this product probably plays best over social media, just so you don't have to really worry about controlling your lighting in person. You can kind of get that all fixed from wherever you're recording it from, and if it, breaks on you, you don't have to worry about it breaking during the routine or whatnot. So personally, I'm not going to perform this in real life. I'm going to perform it on social media. Don't let me scare you though by saying it's only for social media, because it's not. It's just going to take a little bit more work to do it in person. What are the positives about Zeus? As someone who loves gimmick cards and gimmick making and stuff, I loved looking at this gimmick. I love admiring it from I guess kind of like an engineering point of view. It really is a clever gimmick design, and it will work for you. It's got some clever, additions in it to make it look and work better than a regular card like this. And I think that a change that actually happens kind of in slow motion, but in phases, is cool and it's unique. But if it's going to happen in slow motion, it's probably going to be something more like Lloyd Barnes' Ghost system, and this is more of like a boom this phase, boom that phase, boom this. So it's got pros and cons. With all that said, what should this retail as? Well, currently, if you want to buy both of these in a set, it's going to be about $80, and is that a fair price? Well, you can get one. I think you can get one for about $50. So if you want to do that, then you're paying $50 for one card or $80 for two. And do I think that's a fair price? For the amount of gimmickry that's gone into this, yes, it probably is a fair price if you're paying for $80 for two and it's about $40 per gimmick card. I mean, these are handmade, so it's like you got to pay a little bit of a premium because someone literally had to sit down and make these by hand, Hondo. And I do think that that makes it worth the price, but I don't think it should be any more than that. And also, you're going to have to, repair this thing if you're using it a lot. So you have to buy some more materials in the future, and it's going to make it even more expensive. So just be aware of that. It doesn't need to be any more than this, but I don't know. If you're going to get use out of it, then maybe it's worth it for you. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end, and thank you to the French twins as well for allowing me to have this product so that way I could do this review. A few beautiful people out there. If you feel like it's for you, the link to purchase it is in the description down below. Once again, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. You didn't have to watch all the way to the end, but I'm glad you did. I hope you are more informed about Zeus now, but hopefully I'll see you in another video that I'll post on the channel sometime soon. And remember, be nice to people. See ya. So what is Zeus? Well, Zoop. I'm way too entertained by this.